What is going on, people? Welcome to Slap Chat Live. I am your host, Terry, coming to you live from the Las Vegas Strip. And man, it's fucking hot out here still. We did get some rain today, so that was nice. Although I was taking a quick nap through it, so kind of missed out on the little bit of rain we did get. Few interesting things to talk about this week. But before I do want to let you guys know that this episode is actually brought to you by a few half ounces of weed, as well as 1,000 millis of straight resin there. And just to get me through, I've got me the vape pen just in case I have to do something on air. But this isn't slap news. It won't be boring. Don't worry. I probably won't need none of that why I'm doing this show. So let me get into it. First of all, Power Slap tickets, man, are the lowest I've ever seen. I've seen some tickets today for $26, man. I've never seen $26 tickets since this sport has started. So if you haven't gotten tickets yet, this is a good opportunity to go. It's a big arena, new town, college town. There's not a lot to do in this town, I will tell you. I'll get into that in a few minutes, what there is to do that I've looked up. But again, if you haven't been to a Power Slap event, this would be a good one to go to. For one reason, my friend Ron Wolverine, this is going to be his last match, man. In fact, I just got done talking to him just before I went live here, and I hate to see him go. I love this dude like a brother at this point. I've covered sport because of him, but it's time to hang it up. You don't want to see long term damage to anybody you care about or anybody in the sport. I wouldn't even want Isaiah to get long term damage, more than he came into it with, anyways. But it's time to hang it up for him. I definitely agree. Him going to his last one is a little bit nervous, because Logan is a fucking warrior. I'm not worried about him losing. I'm just worried about him going one too many times. Because even when he does beat Logan, he's going to leave the sport with no real champion in that division, and that's not going to be good. And that's definitely a concern long term for the sport. But I'm happy to see him do it, and I talked to him, and, without revealing too much private conversation, I would say that, I think he's in agreement. So it's definitely time to pass the torch on to the new guys, new generation. Let's see what they could do with it. This guy Ron can't do much more in the sport. He's he's set records, going the longest fights in history in the sport. He's won every division. He's got more rounds than pretty much anybody in this sport. When it comes to that, there's just not a lot more that he can do for it. So it is time to pass the torch. And there's a few guys, that are coming up for that. Damian, I don't agree with. And, he hasn't fully announced his retirement yet. And when he does, I'll get into it. But Damian, I think long term, could do other things in the sport. He's may have conquered that division, but be interesting to see what he could do at light heavyweight. But that's another show, and we'll get into that, when the time comes. But I will say this. Speaking of the town in Texas, I forget the name of the town. I don't have it right now. But I will tell you the first thing I noticed they did have, me being a chunky dude, I'd say there's a Golden Corral there. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. Because buffets are fucking gone here in Las Vegas, man. The only one we have is Golden Corral. So, there's a Golden Corral there. Musical ties in this town. I would say Buddy Holly was born there. Also, Waylon Jennings' music career started out there. So a few interesting things about that town that you can check out if you're into music and history. Also, if you like food, Bubba's 33 is out there, man. I know this place from Colorado, the restaurant. And I will say they've got some amazing food. And if you in the younger crowds and stuff like that, it's definitely that kind of scene. So it's kind of like a Hooters without the Hooters showing, if you will. So definitely check out a Bubba's 33 while you're out there. I've been asked a few times about KO Chris. Man, I've reached out to KO Chris, and ironically, just before I went live, he did reach out to me. I was very busy today talking to a lot of people. I will say that. But I did hear back from Chris, and I don't know if he was comprehending what I was messaging him. But there are people that even Chris cares about in this sport at that who have reached out to me very concerned about KO Chris. Here's what I could tell you about KO Chris. If you asked me if I thought he was in trouble, I would say yes. And I reached out to him today, offering some help to him. And again, I don't think he was comprehending what I was trying. He did just tell me to say that a lot of his message was not Power Slap related. I will say this when it comes to KO Chris. I have reached out to some insiders at Power Slap, and based on everything I'm hearing and what Sambodia stated publicly, KO Chris is not going to be doing anything in Power Slap anymore. I have confirmed that. You know, it wasn't just somebody saying it. There's people at the top that saying he is done. But I will say this to Chris: there is some people that care a lot about you and have got me to pay attention to your situation. Chris, if you need some help, I have posted it to you, I've messaged it to you. If you need some help, man, please reach out to me and let's see what we can't do to get you some help. I will not support any habits. I will not send any money. Anything like that. But if you need some serious help, definitely reach out to me, Chris, and we will definitely point you in the right direction and get you going where you got to be. Because you definitely have gotten something going on over there, man, and people do care about you. Again, you reached out to me again today, but you're not responding to anything that makes really sense to what I'm trying to discuss with you. Coaches for Power Slap. Now, this is breaking, and I will say it came from one of the coaches that is announced for this, from somebody in their corner. The coaches for Power Slap 23 is going to be Isaiah and Manny. Um, I'm a little concerned about the coaches. I noticed something when it comes to, first of all, when it comes to Ron and his coach. Ron built a relationship with many of these guys. And Ron has not said anything to me about this. If Ron is watching this, this is the first he's hearing it too. This is my opinion. But Ron has built a relationship with one coach in particular, and that is Brandon Bardu. And I haven't spoken to Brandon Bardu about this either, just to be clear. This is my opinion. But it seems like every time Ron has a match, Brandon Bardu is not the coach for the event, or Ron's coach. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand that they don't want Ron leaving with the belt. That's obvious. Nobody wants their belt walking away from the promotion, and that's going to happen, like it or not. I don't know. Logan's a warrior, but Ron's taking that belt. But why you switch the coaches up like that in particular when it comes to Ron is very interesting for one, knowing that these guys have built a relationship and have publicly stated that that Ron has publicly stated that he works really well with Brandon. But the switching of the coaches is it's a little fucked up if you ask me my opinion. You got the coach of the year over here and you're putting in a guy that's has been publicly criticized by his people in the past events for his coaching, and you're putting him in. And let's be real, there's the Patty has stated stuff, and other people. I can't think of all the names, but I have seen at least 3 people recently criticize Isaiah's coaching. And here he is. He's going to be coaching the champ on his last outing, and we know Isaiah is a frank favorite. So if you ask me going in, it doesn't look good. The shady shit. Ron doesn't care. To him, he's going in to earn a paycheck for his family, and he's going to knock a motherfucker out. But as a fan and somebody that covers the sport, I will say it doesn't look good not to have a coach he gets along with. We know that when it came to Koa, you were going to let a fan come in and be in his corner. But when it comes to Ron, not only did you cancel that for his dad last time, but you're throwing somebody in his corner that isn't the best or best of interest to him, if you will. We know that I'm friends with Ron, and we know that I don't get along with Isaiah. There's just many of things. I will say this: it's not going to be there like it would with Brandon, and I'm calling bullshit when I see it, and that is just my opinion. I want to get into this. I have not spoken to Brandon. I don't know if he is even aware that he is not a coach yet. Brandon, if you're finding out now, I do apologize. This is the way you will be finding out. But, in my opinion, I just feel that Ron's last match, he should be able to have somebody in his corner that he's comfortable with. And if it's got to be a coach, it definitely should be Brandon. If not for the whole event, Brandon should be in his corner for that match. And that's just, again, this is my opinion. Nobody has spoken on it. But I hope, Frank, despite, us not getting along, I hope you take some things that I put out there into consideration. And this being one of them. Let me jump over here to the chats, make sure I'm not missing anything. Over here. Oh, okay, yeah. Let me put that up there. It's interesting when I talk about this. Jesse Nutting wants to know when are we going to be able to choose our own coaches like the UFC? That's a good point. Why are you choosing the coaches for these fighters? Let these fighters have a say in their coach. I get there could be conflict of interest. Bring in 4 coaches for these events and let them pick between 2 per side. Put 2 on the blue and 2 on the red. Rotate these coaches out. But to switch them up, and especially on Ron's last match, and not give him somebody that could be beneficial in his corner and get him through, let's be real, get him through a very tough opponent, you're just not giving him that option. I don't like that. And I guess I should, when I interview Ron, I should get his opinion on it. But again, I'm going to move on to that. Let me go ahead and jump over here to my notes and see what else I'm covering. Brit Slap. Brit Slap, I spoke to the people over at Brit Slap, and they will be streaming their next event. Now, this is an interesting event. If you haven't watched Brit Slap before, this is one to tune into, man. I have never seen a match this interesting over. Don't get me wrong. There's some great fights over at Brit Slap. But this is the most interesting fight I've seen booked out of Brit Slap. This Marty Barnes versus Kyle Cassidy. This is going to be fucking huge. To me, this could be a winner take a contract over a Power Slap match. And the reason why I say that, this guy, Marty Barnes, is definitely, not only he's backed by Lewis Robinson, who we just seen what the fuck Lewis could do when he slaps. And he's proven everybody wrong. But not only is he coached by Lewis Robinson and backed by him heavily, but he's made a statement over in Brit Slap already. But he's taking on Kyle Cassidy, who's going against or Kyle Cassidy, who's got a background himself over in Slap Fighting Championship, as well as, he's the boyfriend of Robin, and he's been helping her. He's been training with her. So very interesting match. In my opinion, this is the best match that Brit Slap has put on. I can't wait to see this. And I just spoke to them. It will be streaming live, and he's going to get that information to me. Again, this event, or that takes place, I believe, is October 3rd, and I'll get more information out as that comes. With that said, man, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything on over here on Insta. Nope. With that, I do apologize about it being so short today. I had an interview a little while ago, and man, just a lot of shit going on. Very busy day. So I didn't get a time to get a whole show put together. With that said, man, you guys have a kick-ass weekend, and we will see you guys next week.